everybody. Today we are going to be talking about how to convert between units. Now, we have been talking about what units are, we've been talking about the metric system. Today we are going to talk about how we get from one unit to the next. This is something that we have done. We have converted between feet and inches using the math that we've learned since elementary school. But today we're going to put a specific framework with it that will help us do more difficult unit conversions going forward. This is probably the most important thing that you will learn all year. We will be doing this even into the end of second semester. So this is a skill that we need to learn well. Make sure you make this big and bold in your notes. Make sure you're highlighting if you've printed off the slides, etc. So the first thing that we need to do is start with the measured or given value, and we're going to write that on the left side of our page. Now, the measured or given value will depend based on the problem that you have. So if this is a word problem and it says you have 18 inches, how many feet is that? Well, the 18 inches would be the given value, and we would write that number on the left side of the page. Today we are going to be working alongside with the examples shown in the bottom right corner of this screen. And so for the first problem, it says convert 0.0489 grams to milligrams. So the measured or the given value in this situation is the 0.0489 grams. So go ahead and write that on the left side of your page. Then we're going to write the unit that we want to get to on the right side of the page. So in this example, we want to get to milligrams. So we're going to write milligrams on the right side of the page. Once we've done that, next to that original value, we're going to write an empty fraction. So you're just going to put a straight line across the page like so. This method that we're using here is called dimensional analysis, which is just a fancy word for unit conversion. But what this method is, it's all about multiplication and division. So that empty fraction is our divisor. It's our dividing line, like you learned about in math. And then we're going to put a multiplication sign to show that we are multiplying these fractions together. Step 3 is to, on the bottom of our empty fraction, so on the denominator, we are going to write the units that you started with. So we want this unit to cancel out, which is why it's going to go on the bottom. So we're going to put grams on the bottom because in algebra, if we multiplied x times 1 over x, we know those x's would cancel out with each other, and we'd be left with 1, that number that's on the numerator. We are trying to employ that same logic in this example. If we have grams on the top, and then we're going to cancel it out with the grams on the bottom of this fraction, we're going to be left with whatever units we put on the top of our fraction or in the numerator. And that's why on the top of the fraction, we are going to write the units that we're going to, so the milligrams. So the grams will cancel out with the grams, and we will be left with milligrams, which is what we wanted. Then the next step is to fill in the conversion factor. Now we've talked, a conversion factor is an equality. So 12 inches equals 1 foot. You could also say 1 foot equals 12 inches. So it is an equality that combines a number with a unit. So in this case, we need to look at our metric system. We need to figure out how many milligrams are in a gram. Now milligrams, that's 10 to the negative third. Grams is 10 to the 0. That's our base unit. So using our skills with metric that we've talked about, we know that there are 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. So we just need to associate that number with the unit. So the 1,000 goes with the milligrams and the 1 goes with the grams. We're saying that there are a lot of milligrams in every 1 gram. Step 6 is sort of the easy part. We just need to multiply everything in the numerator together and then divide by anything in the denominator. So this is where our sort of math skills come in, right? That 0.0489 is in the numerator and the 1,000 milligrams is in the numerator. So we are going to multiply those numbers together and then we're going to divide by what's in the denominator. Fortunately, what's in the denominator is 1. So this is a very straightforward problem. We take that 0.0489, multiply by 1,000, and we get 48.9 milligrams. And that's basically unit conversion. Let's just make sure we get the last couple of steps in here. We need to double check that our units canceled appropriately, which they did, right? The grams canceled with the grams. And then we need to round our answer for sig figs. Our given value has 3 sig figs and our final answer has 3 sig figs. So we're good. We included our units. Everything makes sense. One thing that you do need to keep in mind with sig figs is that conversion factors don't count towards sig figs. These are equalities, are internationally standard. So they don't tell us anything about the precision of the measurement. So we don't count the sig figs from conversion factors. So as long as our first value has 3 sig figs, our final answer should have 3 sig figs. And then we need to check that our answer makes logical sense. I would say it does. We started with a small number of grams, but we're saying that there's a lot of milligrams in, 1 gram. So it would make sense that our number got larger because we are saying, hey, there's a lot more milligrams than there are grams. And that's how we do unit conversion. Then we are going to repeat the process for the second example. So let's go back to the beginning. We're starting with our measured or given value, and we're writing it on the left side of the page. So that would be 1,067 centimeters. And then we're writing the unit that we are going to on the right side of the page. So that would be kilometers. So once we've got those units set up, we're going to draw in our empty fraction. So again, that empty fraction is really just a multiplication sign and then a straight line that becomes your divisor. On the bottom of our empty fraction, we are going to write the units that we started with, the ones that we want to cancel out of. So since we started in centimeters, we're going to put centimeters on the bottom of this fraction. The idea is, just like in the x times 1 over x example, we want those units to cancel out. So the centimeters will cancel with centimeters, and we are going to be left with kilometers on the top, because that's what step 4 is. On the top of the fraction, we're writing the units that we're going to. The kilometers will go there. Next, we need to fill in the conversion factor. So this is where you need to use your thinking from the metric units. So how many hops, or what's the difference between the kilometers and the centimeters? Kilometers is 10 to the third. Centimeters is 10 to the negative second. So that's a difference of 10 to the fifth. Remember, we did these practices already. So this is a difference of 10 to the fifth, and this is how many centimeters are in 1 kilometer. You should always put a 1 next to the bigger unit. So the kilometers is the bigger unit, 1. We are saying that there are a lot of centimeters in a kilometer, 10 to the fifth to be precise. Once we have filled in our conversion factors, it's time to multiply everything across and divide by anything that's in the denominator. So we're going to take 1,067, multiply it by the numerator, which is 1, so we get 1,067, and then we're going to divide by 10 to the fifth. So you would take the 1,067, divide by 100,000, and you would get 0.01067. And that's how many kilometers are in 1,067 centimeters. So our units canceled appropriately. We canceled out the centimeters. We were left with kilometers. Our sig figs remain the same because conversion factors don't count towards sig figs, and we included our units. And then our answer does make sense. And that's basically unit conversion, guys. I hope this video helped. Next video, we will be doing more examples, so look out for those and look out for all of the other notes and information on this topic.